Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Got another saw in the mail today to repair. This one from Bob. It is a Homelite XL. And just looking at this, okay, that's going to be from the early to mid 80s. It's got the Super 2 style body that's in plastic with just the single trigger. Okay, I'll have to contact Bob. I think he's got all these other parts here. Okay, so this is the pretty standard setup. He said he had replaced the diaphragm oiler. We do have a duckbill valve in place. He said it would not pump any oil. And I see a little bit of oil in the hose, so some has made it up there. What if I'm... Yeah, I'm gonna have to investigate the routing of these oil hoses. And we'll go from there. So the easiest way to do that, at least for an initial inspection, get your starter cover off. These diaphragm oilers are pretty reliable, typically. I still can't totally see what I'd like to see here. So the next step is you get the engine out of the case. And to do that, you've got to get the spark plug off. Out. Excuse me. These saws aren't nearly as difficult to work on as some folks have put out there on the forums and stuff over the years. Pretty damn simple once you know what order to take them apart. Now that's drained, so I can tilt this and not make a mess. Okay. Now this one has the stop switch that has the permanent mounted wire. It's riveted to the bottom, so you got to unplug it down at the coil and then fish it out. And then from here, you don't need to take this cover off. Little trick here. Start sliding the case out, slip the spark plug boot in front of the muffler and just kind of compress it a little bit as you start to pull the engine out of the case. And then there's your throttle rod. Let me get you guys in close for that. I want you to see that. If you do this right, and I can't see, there we go. You should be able to slide this thing forward and watch that rod just start to disconnect. It's hard to do with one hand, but I'll try. It's so close, right there. There we go. With two hands, that would have been much smoother and less spastic, but you get the point. Okay, well, I am not seeing... Oh, yes, I am. Here we go. Here we go. That is why she's not pumping oil. See the gasket right there? It's sticking out. And I don't know that it'll focus well enough for you guys to see, but it's sandwiched. You can see that gasket that's sticking out ends right there, and it's sandwiched. So there's a big air leak right here. So what we've got to do is pop that cover off and reset all of that if that gasket's not damaged. So let's just do that real quick. That is an easy fix. In worst case, if the gasket's damaged, I've got enough of those on hand that not going to be the end of the world. Let's see if I can get the right angle here. Nah, it's going to keep moving. Whatever. Keep fighting with me. Those are just a flat, regular slotted screw. Don't lose these little guys. And there is a spring behind here. You see how that cover started to wobble right off. That's the plunger return spring. Damn. Yep, that's what it is. That son of a bitch slipped out of place as it was going back in. Man, that's too bad. Because I think Bob had this repair nailed. I'm gonna lube that pump up just a smidge. What the hell's my oil can? Tell you, just got too much stuff for this process. Build a chain and I leave it over there and I can't find it. Alright. There we go. So you need a gasket on the inside and the outside. That one still looks okay. We're going to run with it. These diaphragms have gotten super hard to find at a reasonable price. Seems like they're going about 25 bucks right now on eBay, which I don't consider to be a reasonable price, but I guess if a guy absolutely has to have it, what the heck are you going to do? So we're going to slip that in, and pull that. Oh, did you do what I think you did? Ah, dummy. Oh, that's right. That is right. Okay, that's holding itself in place there. Then I'm going to start a screw. Probably this outer one. Because the inner is going to be kind of defined by the shape of the crankcase there. Get this spring in place. As long as it doesn't cock sideways in there, you set. This is a tight fit. If you go in the right order, you know, something about this isn't seeming quite right. I can't remember if that is supposed to go on the inside or the outside. Been a while since I worked on one of these. The wear pattern is on the outside here. But just to be safe, I'm going to grab a manual. And here we are to the XL Super 2s. Huh. A couple gaskets I didn't know I have. Hopefully this is a... Oh, that one's too new. We'll go with an older Super 2. This is too old, but it's okay. It'll work. Ah, there we go. That details it. I should have stuck with it. That shows it right there. Gasket spring is on the outside. But it beats the hell out of getting it all together and realizing that it was done the wrong way. So we'll try this again. And it sounds like my wife and kids just got home. So depending on how the second day of spring break went for them, they could be excited or they could be unhappy. Hard to say. Yeah, I've done a lot of these and I don't remember having that much trouble lining this up. So that means I haven't done enough of them lately to stay fresh on it. Alright, so I'm just going to try and get this started. There we go. There we have it.
Daddy, Mom.
Hello, Lily.
You need to help us.
Alright, just a second.
Okay. I got
Okay. Alright, so we'll get these screws started and lined up. Careful not to cross thread them. These housings are magnesium, so they can be damaged. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the kids didn't have the greatest day, because I'm hearing more whining than I should for this soon. Okay, we're about ready to put back together. That looks like a custom air filter, which will get the job done. But I think we're going to go with a new Homelite part. And the retainer down there is missing as well. That will keep the filter from getting sucked into the engine. Okay, well, I'm going to quit right there. Go have my dinner, and we'll come back to this. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing finished up. So putting it back together is basically the exact opposite of taking it apart. You want to tuck the spark plug boot in tight to the cylinder here. Just kind of line everything up slowly. Get your throttle rod to slip up over the engine housing. Which can be, as you can see, a little more of a challenge. Oh, baby. They usually don't fight me quite this much. But that's because the video camera's running. When the camera's going, things are 10 times harder than they are if you're just doing it yourself. There we go. So then take your nice throttle rod here and line it up into... Oh, come on. This one really is a pain in the neck, and they aren't normally. I don't know why. There we go. Get it to slip forward. Normally this goes super smooth. Let me get that air filter the hell out of the way for a second. Oh, come on. There we go. It's all about having everything at the right angle at the right time. Keep your kill switch lead out. Everything should fall right into place. Pull your spark plug lead out to where it should be. And you should get it in the case where you can see the bolt holes lined up. And I don't know that you guys will be able to, but they are. And I'm realizing I forgot to turn my viewfinder around here so that I can even see what I'm doing. Alright, got the screws. We're going to put a little Loctite on those. Again, red is probably an overkill if you ever want to get them out again without really stressing the threads in the block. And you don't want to tighten anything down until you've got everything started. These plastic cases can distort a little bit, but in general, things should pretty much line up without a whole lot of hassle. If it's not, if you're really feeling like you got to force something, stop, figure out why. It's probably the spark plug lead, or the other thing, I'll show you guys in a second, the bar adjuster can slip forward and hang up. Now this bar adjuster is completely missing, I just noticed that. So I'll have to talk to Bob and see if he wants me to replace that while I'm at it. But the screw head can hang up on the edge of the case here, so you kind of got to get things in at the right angle at the right time. So let's crank these down. No need to go medieval on them. Unless you like replacing broken stuff. I, for one, don't. Okay. I left the screws in the starter. Don't forget to hook up your kill switch lead. And they didn't make these damn wires any longer than they had to. So, there we go. There's just barely enough to get it in there. And then get it routed so that it won't rub on anything. I'm going to slip it over the top of, maybe. There we go. And it's on an insulated wire, so it's not going to rub anywhere. Okay. Now these are metal screws into plastic, so you really want to be careful here. You want them to catch their old threads. If it feels like they're cutting new ones, stop, because you won't get away with that for very long. Okay, we're ready for a test run. So let's get some fuel and oil in this thing, and we'll see if she pukes a little. I think a spark plug would help. I'm going to gap that one a little bit. It's pretty tight. Yes, there are gapping tools, but the old flat blade screwdriver trick in my eyeball has always served me pretty well. These are a tapered seat spark plug. This is a DJ7Y. And you want, DJ7Y. You want to stick to that heat range, and you sure don't want a gasketed plug on here. It will not seal properly, and vice versa. You don't want to put a tapered seat plug into a cylinder head that's meant for a gasket. That's not going to seal well either, and you're going to probably start damaging that sealing surface. Let's get some fuel and oil. Since this is going to have to be shipped, I'm not going to go crazy with it. That ought to be enough for it to pick up. These gaskets are good in the caps, but you want to check that. And especially on the oil cap, if this is warped and distorted and it does not seal on this pressurized system, it's going to leak and you're not going to get your oil in. You might get a little bit, but if it's really weak, check your cap, especially the older ones. They like to warp. And what that ends up doing is lets all that pressure just out, and it doesn't force any oil out to the bar pad. Alright, so this may have to run for a minute or so before we get some results. But, keep your fingers crossed, everybody. Let's hope she goes soon. dry system can take a while to prime, and you guys saw that. I don't know if I'm imagining things, but it seems like to me when I take a little drop of oil from the oil can and put it over the outlet hole on one of these, it helps prime it for some reason. I don't know if it puts a little pressure in there or what, but always seems to bring them to life a little bit quicker. So anyway, Bob, I'll shoot you an email. Make sure you've got an adjuster and these other, like the air filter cover and stuff that's missing. But oil problem fixed. It was that damn gasket that slipped.